All right. Hello, internet world. We're Boleros. This is the first time that we're actually doing this. So I hope you can keep up with all of our shenanigans and all of our mistakes throughout this podcast. Sabay-sabay natin itong pag-aralan. I'm Dale. I'm from UP. So obviously rooting for UP in this UAAP themed podcast. I have here Sam and Gab. Hey guys.
Hello. I'm
Yeah,
Sam. Buti na lang natuloy na natin finally yung podcast na to, no. I mean, kailan natin pinag-usapan to, Dale? Like, when did we sort of reach out to you? A week ago? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I think so. Parang wala kang 2 weeks eh.
Oo nga eh,
Fresh na
biglaan lang.
fresh.
Alam mo naman, ganyan talaga pag mga outing, di ba? Yung mga biglaan, yun yung natutuloy.
Yun yung natutuloy.
Oo. Gab.
yung buti ka pa, last week ko lang nalaman, Dale. Yung kami ni Sam, pinag-usapan na namin to 1 year ago, 2 years ago. Ngayon lang natuloy. Kung kailan 1 week notice.
To be
Kung
fair,
kailan...
laging walang UAAP. Like, the last 2 years have been canceled.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
today is a very special day for everyone, right?
For everyone, yeah. I don't think
Yeah.
just for the three of us. I think a lot of people are finally celebrating that UAAP is back. Ang dami nating ginump na season. Sayang yung mga hashtags from before, di ba? Na 83, 84. So finally, we can all use that. So again, this is Boleros. Hopefully, we'll have more episodes after this first one. But as our opening salvo for this program. So we just wanted to, I guess, see where everyone is at in terms of their feelings, reactions, ganyan. Kasi, ayan nga, first UAAP game in so long. I don't know how many days have passed, but grabe, I think this is the longest, di ba, that we didn't see any college ball. So, Gab, Sam, any initial thoughts and feelings no finally, ayan na, opening ceremony kaninang umaga, and then you finally saw the ball tip off?
Sige, I'll go first.
Sure.
Well, my first reaction is, oh my God, it's so hard to watch basketball the whole day. I thought I missed the UAAP. By the end of the day, I somehow sawa ako sa UAAP. I don't want to watch a single game for a while. Man, the schedule, the 4 days, the 4 games in one day is. I don't know who thought of this schedule. I don't know who thought that this was a good idea. The host Lasal, what the hell are you doing? 4 games in a day. I mean, hey, we all miss the UAE.
Bias.
This is crazy. This is crazy. Also, initial reaction, maybe to the games themselves. It's like everyone's in a rush. Lahat nag-press. All teams were full court pressing everyone. Well, like maybe except Ateneo, but everyone was full court pressing. In my head, you're gonna play every 3 days. Chill out. Mapagod kayo. But yeah, it was tiring for me to watch them, and it's tiring, I'm sure, for them to play all these games. What about you, Sam?
Yeah. I think the players nga, kitang-kita, when you mentioned yung lahat nagpe-press, parang, ay, lahat sila excited. Diba? Parang feel mo na talagang after 2 years, yung walang laro.
Especially in that first game. Oh my God, we'll talk about it later.
Grabe. Dami ng energy lahat. Ikaw, Sam.
Okay, sige. Initial reactions. Similar to Gab, I think, syempre ako overall, very excited to be able to finally watch the UAAP again, especially basketball. Something very close to my heart. So, I was excited. I really wanted to watch most of all the games, although I couldn't. But like just watching the first few games, especially I think for me, medyo bittersweet eh. Parang sad din sa akin kasi walang fans. I think that's a very big part of the UAAP.
Walang
Like just
drums.
wala ding drums. Gab, being a drummer before, di ba? So,
Ayun,
super important.
represent.
Ayan, represent talagang, alam mo yung bias ni Gab eh, no? So, I think yun, the drums, the fan, the cheers, the fan noise, yun yung parang kulang eh. But I think it was a good first opening day, first few games for the teams. Syempre, everyone's still adjusting. This is a I think the first round is a bubble setup, diba? So close talaga all the games. So yun lang, medyo sad but still very excited to be able to watch the games. I think similar to Gab in terms of the level of play. Siguro if napansin mo na everyone's rushing, everyone's playing full court press. I think ang napansin ko naman, a lot of players or teams even were still a bit rusty, I think. Like yung mga expected star players mo.
Oh, not a bit. Not a bit.
Not a bit, ha? Sa akin, like, that's true, no? So talagang rusty. I think first few games in Lastimosta, first half barely made an impact, but I think that's why humabol sila. Later on, we can talk about it. Sino pa ba yung mga medyo rusty? I think I was waiting for Sean. He came off the bench. Tapos, may mga rusty free throws tayong nakita na you don't really expect. Pero I guess part of the excitement also. People are raring to play. What about
Sean's
you,
muscles
Dale?
don't look rusty. Those muscles look, love those muscles.
Si Muscle Man. Pero yeah, talagang kitang-kita yung difference ng 2 years. And I think that's also where I'm coming from. Parang finally when we had this schedule na for UAAP, ako personally, parang there was a lot of catching up to do. I was looking at the rosters of everyone. Parang the names, some of them like
Yes.
okay, familiar, pero
Yeah.
I
Yes.
needed to alam mo yun, parang konting Twitter search pa, konting
Right.
Facebook search na, wait, who is this again? Sorry, para yung ganon. So, there was a lot of
True.
catching up to do. And I had to recall also, wait, ano na nga ba nangyari? Ay, right, Ateneo still swept everything. Yung mga ganon. So, I think that's also why they
Also,
tried.
initial reaction, why are we
Yeah.
in season 84? We skipped 2 years.
Yeah.
Right? So, shouldn't be season 85? We skipped 83 and 84. Why are we in 84?
No, Gab, kasi,
Yeah.
diba, from what I've read, we're still doing 85 this year. So, we'll do 2
Yeah.
seasons this
2
year.
seasons.
So,
Parang
technically,
end of the year, no? Parang
Yes.
ganun.
yes. So, season 85 will resume during the normal
Yes.
schedule. So, diba, usually basketball happens on, I think, like September, Burr months,
Q4.
diba? So, we'll still have 85 during that time. Kasi I think usually, if I'm not mistaken, at this time, it's what, volleyball? Volleyball ang pasok.
Yeah,
Yeah.
volleyball.
So, I think
Usually
that's why
March
84.
parang pa-second round na ng volleyball eh.
Correct.
UAP.
Correct.
All right.
Yes.
That's a good,
But yeah,
So parang
because I was wondering
shortened
that the whole
season.
day. So 84. So there's like the NBA bubble wherein they
Yes,
rush.
pretty
Correct.
much.
Correct.
Okay.
It is a
Same
bubble.
Yeah.
So
I
parang may
think kaya
dalawa
ganito
kang
rin eh.
yeah. Kaya may dalawa kang champion this year lalabas.
Oo.
May kita tayong 2 champions. But yeah, good point, Dale. I think ako din parang teka lang. 'Di ba lahat to rookie? Parang half, I think most of the basketball teams have like 50% of their teams have rookie. Parang
We have an
rookies
interesting
lahat,
rookie of the year race.
I know. Highly
Parang lahat
competitive.
sila eligible.
That's true. That's true.
Tapos parang may mga naririnig na akong super seniors. Parang, wait, lahat ba ito gagraduate na? Parang you're either a rookie or you're a graduating senior. Parang
or you're
nawala
very
yung mga,
old.
Oh, yeah. And I also noticed dun sa rosters nga when I was reviewing, 50-50 yung coaches. Parang I think 4 teams, new coaches, 4 teams. Parang medyo naririnig na natin ng mga names, diba? So I think that will also be interesting for people to see all these new names and how they would play, diba? What their tactics would be. Pero yung sa initial reaction then in terms of like feelings about it, same din with Sam, parang sobrang iba pala yung feeling na wala kang ibang naririnig doon sa broadcast, kundi puro screeches, puro, alam mo yun, tunog lang nung, nagsisigawan lang sa bench. And with UAAP, like the school spirit
There
talaga
were
is super
drums.
important.
There were drums in the. I
In
forgot
which games?
which game. I think it was Ateneo UP. I think there were recordings of drums. I don't know. Huh? There
Fake.
were drums.
Wow.
So sabi,
Fake.
what?
Okay, okay.
There's
Fake.
drums. Yeah,
Resourceful.
and then the drums faded away. I'm like, so they recorded the drums to play
Okay.
for only a specific time. What is this?
Very resourceful. Let's give
Pwede,
it to
pwede.
them.
I think
Diba?
ginagawa din yan
Pwede.
in other sports I think like the NBA or I've heard that before then.
But why only for that specific moment in that specific? I don't know. They could have done it for the whole for all 4 games, but that caught me off guard.
Yeah.
I heard drums on the telecast, but they don't seem like drums. I mean, there weren't any drums, and then the drums went away. So I was like, is that a recording? Oh my god!
Maybe someone in the comment section, once this is up, can tell us the answer. Diba? Like, what is this thing that we're hearing? And also, parang in the succeeding episodes, we'll also know kung yun yung pattern na baka Ateneo UP lang talaga may recording or
right.
the other teams would catch up.
I trust Gab, siya yung drummer So, maniniwala na lang ako sa
May
kanya.
intel.
He knows the sound of real drums.
Versus a recording. Ganyan. So, since we've all been mentioning 4 games, 4 matches, all of the schools have been represented in this day. So, let's go right ahead and recap everything that happened. Hopefully, we'll be able to do so. Pero si Gab, ano yan, daming nakabaon kasi nga 4 games Ang pinila niya.
8 hours of my day just watch in front of the TV.
Day well spent. Dahil 2 years naman daw nawala. So, first game, FEU UST. I think this one, dito lumabas talaga yung, I mean, let's be honest, di ba? Very rusty first quarter, second quarter. Talagang medyo matinding panood
Why
siya.
don't we do something different? Sam, why don't you look at the box score and then tell me what you think from the game just based on the box score?
Honestly, for me, okay, this one I didn't get to watch the entire game. So, I watched the end of it. So, medyo tambak na nun. So, garbage time. But I also watched the highlights. And dun sa highlights for me, obviously, the guy that stood out of the rest, RJ Abarientos for me. Hindi ito rookie. Ibang level yung laro niya and yung galaw niya, especially the highlights. I saw the passes, tapos yung step back three niya. Pero looking at the box score, I'm surprised he took 10 3-point attempts pala. I mean, obviously sa highlights napanood ko lang lahat ng mga made threes niya, but I think that one stood out for me. But this guy looks like he's the real deal and mukhang he's the clear star of this team. And rookie pa lang to, so they have 5 years of RJ left.
Okay, so I will react to that. Yes, I'm impressed by Ron J. Apparently, he's called Ron J. Abarientos. He was impressive. I think we all knew that. We all watched him from Gilas. He was the backup point guard. Made some big plays in the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. But I would have to say, hold your horses on crowning Ron J as the sure rookie of the year and everything, because this was a crap game. This was a bad way to start 2 years of absences of the UAAP and watch this crap game. At the start, I was like, just maybe the jitters, the excited, yung kinakabahan sila. Pero hindi. Okay, my first note, UST, I feel like they didn't practice at all. they're almost all of them are rookies, but they had no place. I mean, it reminded me of the scene in Coach Carter. I don't know if anyone here remembers that during their first game. Then Coach Carter asked Worm, "So y'all might be wondering, we didn't practice our offense during practice, but what did we do during practice, Worm?" And then Worm said, like, "I don't know, run." Exactly. I want you to run. And I was like, ganun na ata yung sinabi sa kanila ng coach nila kasi wala silang ginawa kundi tumakbo. Eh, as in, every rebound, every turnover, they have more turnovers than field goals. The entire first half. Ah, they were just launching threes, one pass, two pass, tira. Kung one pass, pick, tira. That was all. Sakit sa mata. And it wasn't just the first half. You would forgive the first half. Maybe excited, kinakabahan. Kahit second half, ganun pa rin. They weren't running any plays. It was a hard watch. And even FEU, sometimes, siguro, yung nahawa sa excitement sa energy ng UST, they were also running. But, this Olsen Racela team, we know how Olsen Racela-led teams work. They're guard heavy. Their guards are great. They won this game even without LJ Gonzalez, who was out with an injury, apparently. And, if you just play that way, the most talented team will win. And FEU was the more talented team. They're guard heavy. They play through their guards. They both play the same way. One big and four out, one in. Then a lot of pick and roll, a lot of threes. Exciting siya if they made shots and didn't throw the ball away every possession. But
parang nag-agawang buko sila, gano'n.
Oh, as in, parang siyang shocked in a fool na top.
But for 4 quarters.
Sa isang
Cue in the music.
Mahal, walang copyright.
The highlight was really RJ Abarientos, Ron J.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think I think UST is the only team na walang import. Am I correct? Or
yeah,
I know they didn't have an import, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they didn't have an import.
All Filipino team.
And from UST side, my concern is I don't know where the offense is gonna come from.
I saw the fourth quarter. Meron silang parang guard na may shooting, tapos Fontanilla ba yun? Okay.
So apparently,
siya yung top scorer for this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw.
The coach of UST also coached this guy Fontanilla in his former school, so he just brought him along here. And I don't know if he's a one and done, but maybe 2 or 3 years he's there. But yeah, I think he's the only guy who can create his own offense. And you have Sherwin Concepcion, who can hit shots. He was a shooter. But man, rough to watch UST. Hopefully they can get more practice in, get to know each other. Because if they play that way against all other teams that we saw today, they're gonna get killed. From FEU side, hard to take away anything because I would say they didn't play against top competition. They sort of fell in the trap of quick shots,
right,
and a lot of turnovers. But you see the mold of an Olsen Racela team from FEU. Heavy guard play, as in the past, the Wendell Comboys, and all the other guards that went through there. They're very guard heavy. In the mga guards, Cyrus Torres, Alforque, Nuevo. I think it was a highly
shooter.
talented
Shooter yun, diba?
Yeah, but he's a shooter and he's very athletic. He can fly. So and they have a big foreign student athlete. Forgot his
Ojula.
name.
Ajula.
Ajula, yeah,
Yeah.
he's big.
Mukhang marunong maglaro yun. Nakita ko po,
Yeah.
poste siya eh.
First quarter, di ba? Inside game for FEU. Very hopeful ako. Kaya feeling ko yung first quarter parang, sige, yung 22 points nila, pagbigyan natin. Baka may mangyari pa. Pero parang every quarter lang, feeling ko for both FEU and UST, parang may isang player ka lang na spark of hope. Alam mo yun, parang nag-1-on-1 lang sila. Q1, Q2.
Yeah.
Pero yung the whole 4 quarter, parang very sabog-sabog nga. Hindi siya cohesive.
Yeah.
But I think you have to give UST siguro a chance kasi they're coming from losing Cancino and Mark Nonoy who went to different schools. They
Plus all the
also
controversy
lost,
that happened.
exactly, and then Subido, right? Subido graduated, so this is really like a new team. Kaya
rebuilding team, yeah.
It's really rebuilding again for UST. I think this year at least.
But it was also a bit shocking to sorry. Pero yeah, yung for me lang sa UST, it was a bit shocking to see a Gomez Deliano wearing a different.
Good.
Kamusta si Gomez Deliano? Kamusta si Gomez Deliano?
1
points
shot,
lang siya
3 points. That's it.
He hit the first shot of the game, I think.
Yeah.
He hit the first
and
shot.
That was it.
Yeah. And that was it. I kind of expected them to run more plays for him, but again, no, they weren't running any sort of play. I think they ran a total of, from what I could count, 3-4 plays where they really set up something. 3 or 4 times that gave all others, they were just run, then pass. Oh, it's a turnover. Oh, they'll get it again. Oh, let's shoot something. Oh, miss. Tough watch. Anyway, we can move on if you don't want.
Yeah, let's move on.
But here is one thing. I give them a loser of the day if we had that, because all their transferees basically played well today. Renzo Bando for Letran balled out. CJ Cancino in the game that we'll get to later balled out. Mark Nona, you will get to him, but he didn't play. So tough times for UST. Tough time to be a UST fan.
Can you imagine that? Abando, Cancino, and Nonoy in one UST team. That's tough.
Yeah. Hard to imagine, no?
Parang hindi ka mahihirapan pag crunch time kasi you have options. Parang kanina talaga, there are no options. Talagang kung kanina mag-fall yung bola, tama si Gabi, like, sige, bato natin. Diba? Malay mo naman for the next game, we'll see if all of these rants that we have, diba, magbago siya and we see more improvements. And we'll also see if Barrientos will continue his run of this amazing place. But it's time for game number 2, NU Adamson. So at least ito, very exciting, very close game, 71-69 for NU. Anong mga thoughts natin dito? Ako akala ko talaga, like, yung halftime score nila, I think it was a 10-point lead. It didn't tell the whole story of the game because it was really close. It was super exciting even if 10 points yung naging difference nila ng halftime. And ayun naman, sa final score, diba, we can see, very lapit.
My reaction, Sam, you want to react first? Were you able to watch the game?
Yes. Yeah, so I think for me, as I mentioned earlier, I think dito mas makikita mo yung jitters and yung rust ng players. I think it was a close game. They were pretty much more or less on the same level, both well-coached teams. I think the reason why NU got this one or pulled away was really that first half also, building that cushion and that lead. I remember I think both first quarter they had, sabi nga ni Gab, diba, lahat full court press I think today. So I think NU had really good defense nung first half. Forced 12 turnovers I think in total nung first half. 6 in the first quarter if I'm not mistaken, and then another 6 in the second quarter. Big factor there was Lastimosa got into foul trouble. So I think he barely played during the first half. And you could really see the difference when he started playing in the second half. They were breaking the press better. And I think that's one of the reasons why they were able to keep it close. Pero lots of also, despite losing by 2 points on missed free throws, I was expecting this to go to overtime. I think there were a lot of silver linings to Adamson also. Itong si Hanapi, this Hanapi guy, like watching him move, akala mo shooter lang, and then mamaya fake drive, hindi siya takot eh. And I think this guy is a rookie also, di ba? Tama pa ako?
Yeah, he's from Adamson.
Juniors ng Adamson. Okay.
Debut game niya.
Okay, but this guy looks like he's ready to play. Ayan, at least for me, parang naka-game face siya. And mukhang he's going to be a solid contributor to the team for the next few years. So, and they're being coached by Nash Rosella. So it's another Rosella coach team. So you would always expect like a Rosella coach team to do really well in the UAAP. So I think it's despite the loss, I think it's a good game for Adamson. For NU, I think disappointed lang ako kay Sean. Ildefonso is expecting a lot from him today, especially being a fan of his shows.
I wasn't disappointed in his biceps and his deltoid though. Parang mara sa
lumaki
tatay.
Ba, Gab?
Lumaki.
2 years.
After 2 years, no, lumaki.
Wow.
The gains.
Those arms, man. Goals and goals.
Yeah, so I think this one was probably the best, parang the most exciting one, just because it was the closest. I was really hoping my overtime tayo during the first day of the UAAP. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but close enough. We almost got there.
So my reaction is this was a saving grace from the disaster, which was the first game of FEU and UST. This game, these two teams were prepared, and you were right on point, Sam. I was very impressed by Adamson. The NU press though gave them trouble, which is why I think they could work on it. But you could see that they executed well. Really, they would run when they could run, but if not, they would set up their offense and run plays. Just in the first half, they were caught off guard by the press and never really broke it. In the second half, they found their footing, but couldn't get the defensive rebounds because they were playing zone. NU was playing zone all the time, so they were giving up so many offensive rebounds. I would have to say though, I would have put back Jerome Lastimosa in the first half, despite getting 2 fouls. He's your best player, and that's obvious from the second half. He took over. I mean, this was the guy who displaced Jerry Pingoy. Do you remember that? Jerry Pingoy was a starting point guard 2 years ago, and then he gets placed on the bench for the second round for Jerome Lastimosa because Jerome Lastimosa was balling out. And it is obvious. It is a Jerome Lastimosa team. And the first half, I would have put back Jerome Lastimosa. I mean, 2 fouls, I would have rolled the dice. They could have closed the gap, and I think they could have won this game easily. I'm very high on Adamson. They're very disciplined. I think you're right. You're right there, Sam. Then being coached by Nash Rosella, I think they're very well positioned. Their discipline showed. I was very impressed by Adamson today. Sobrang organized sila.
I think, to be fair, probably one of the reason why they didn't bring back si Lastimosa during the first half. I think Sabandal did sort of okay as the point guard during that period. I think he shot a couple of threes nung time na yun. I think if I'm not mistaken, most of his points came from the first half, and then Lastimosa took over in the second half. So maybe that was a reason why they decided, maybe Coach Nash decided not to bring back
Parang hindi
Lastimosa.
pa hindi pa SOS nung time na yun.
So
Good point. Good point. But the thing is, they were getting turnover after turnover from the press. So I've seen this happen with Ateneo when they would get turnovers because SJ or Tyler Theo were turning the ball over. Despite being in foul trouble, yung tap ball will put in Matt Nieto because he knows he trusts Matt Nieto will just break the press automatically. I don't know. Maybe just coaching decision. I would have put back my veteran point guard.
Out of the 4. Would you say na league pass?
Saving grace. Saving
pang league
grace.
pass ba ganyan? League pass school si Adamson or si NU?
Not for league pass, for national TV. For NBA games, they have this national TV games. Then the rest is just watching league pass.
League pass.
This is the national TV game. NU versus Adamson.
I'm excited to see more of Lastimosa talaga. His heroics towards the end. Parang bumabalik parang PTSD na ito yung mga UP matches namin before. Pinahirapan kami nitong si Kuya.
He was the one who hit the corner shot, diba?
Correct.
So ako parang kitang-kita yung oh no, he's back.
PTSD.
Oo.
What about NU though? For NU, I really don't know most of their guys. Who's their high recruit from Adamson? Figueroa didn't show much. Although I think just some rookie struggles. I think he'll find his footing eventually. And then this point guard who killed Adamson.
Felicilda,
yeah.
From the bench. Off the bench.
From the bench, the backup point guard. What a game for him. What a game.
I think bullpup siya, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
Homegrown. So, yes. Great. Grabe yung confidence niya kanina talaga. Sumasaksak and then all of his passes also very on point.
Very confident, yeah. I think that's the key then.
Maybe one last point for NU. From this game, my one last point. We got the very first my favorite call of the UAAP, my favorite thing that they say. Warning for improper bench decorum. That is the best call in all of basketball, in all of Philippine basketball. You can only see it in the UAAP. Warning on the Adamson Falcons for improper bench decorum. I still have no idea what this means. Someone tell me what improper bench decorum is. Do I have to sit a certain way? I can't stand up? All I have to do is sit down? I can't shout? Crazy. I love improper bench decorum.
Well, now na walang fans, ha? Mas maririnig natin what the bench is saying. So, something to watch out for the rest of the season, maybe. Let's see kung meron tayong next warning from another team.
Is this something that will be counting every episode? Did we hear this call?
Drinking game.
Oh, I heard it twice today. It was twice. Improper bench decorum. Classic UAAP.
So we'll see more. Pero maganda yung suggestion ni Sam. Drinking game, di ba? Every time that we hear it. Pwede.
The improper bench decorum.
Oo. So for game 3, ito
na.
Feeling ko lalabas lahat ng bias natin.
Tuesday.
Tapos si Sam kasi dapat for 2 teams pwede recap. Either you
pwede naman.
or Ateneo. But I was so excited to see my team finally.
So, disclaimer, I guess, for everyone who will be watching this. I am from Ateneo. I'm a true blue. I'm obviously biased towards Ateneo. Dale is from UP.
So I'm obviously
Uh,
biased towards them.
obviously biased from UP. Sam studied in Ateneo till high school, went to UP for college, so he can
Do whatever
mediate
he wants from
Bias ako
now.
sa
between.
mananalo. Bias ako sa mananalo.
Meron tayong full
So,
disclosure. So Gab, take it away. How was the third game for you?
so I have one takeaway from this game is one word: culture. Uh, you could see the culture in Ateneo. I'll go first to the Blue Eagles. Um, you could see the effect of what culture building can do. That even though ang daming turnover, all the past veterans and stars left, 30, the Nieto brothers, Isaac Go, etc. They still play the same way. Uh, you know, the same way. If you would look at the box score, Sam, you'd see that David Defondo had 19 points. You would think, he scored siguro on a lot of one-on-one plays, but he didn't. He scored in the flow of the offense, which is great. I think uh, total opposite of what he did in NU was a lot of running, a lot of one-on-one, and he had some, but it's in the flow of the offense, and well-oiled machine Ateneo, just doing what they do. There were 2 points in the second half, one in the third quarter wherein UP cut the lead to 6, and then no panic. Uh, Ateneo just did the same plays, played the same hard defense, and that's 6 point lead turned to 18 in the blink of an eye. And then there's another point in the fourth quarter. The lead was cut down to 9. Uh, UP was making a run, and then same thing. 3-pointer by Tyler Tio, then another 3-pointer by Tamayo, and then answered by SJ on the next play. So pretty amazing. And the second for culture on the side of UP, I love how UP played. Ang sabi ko nga sa mga kaibigan ko, hindi na masakit sa mata yung manood ng UP. I don't know, from a UP fan, is this true? Because, sakit sa mata manood ng UP eh. Remember nung natalo kayo twice sa UST 2 years ago? Ang hirap manood nun dahil ang play lang nila was ibigay yung bola kay Kobe.
Yep.
At, diba? Sa fourth quarter, yung play lang ng yun ng UP was to give the ball to Kobe. At alam na ng UST na ibigay yung bola kay Kobe. So, wala nangyayari. Sobrang sakit manood. Pero ngayon, yeah, I was impressed by UP. So you could see that a culture is building there. Dami nilang talent. I think, yung sabi ni Sam sa akin, I think they had all of the NU Bullpups went there because their coach is there. So, amazing. Carl Tamayo was great. Jerry Abadiano had some plays. And their foreign student athlete, Diof,
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Our big
I was
man.
impressed.
I think he
had
came
his
from
own against
CEU. Alam ko
yeah.
galing siya
yeah.
NCAA.
CEU. I was impressed by him. Held his own against Ange. And has good hands, can finish around the basket. And he's tall. He's 6'11", 7
Yeah.
feet.
Long
Yung as
and
tall as Ange.
lanky.
Which was the problem with Bright because he was smaller than Ange, so he couldn't finish around Ange. But this Josh can finish around the rim against Ange. So impressive by UP. Same with the other teams. No first half, I think ginulat sila ng Ateneo. Tinambakan nung una because the well-oiled machine again. Ateneo just ran the same things. But there, any input, Sam?
Yeah, I think
or Dale, if you want to react.
no, ako not much to say here. I think for the side of UP lang, was really looking forward to watching them play. I remember few years back I saw sina yung juniors game. I just wanted to watch sina Kai Soto play, and I remember watching NU play at that time, and nandun, if I'm not mistaken, most of the stars of NU were also there, and I really liked how they were coached back then by Coach Goldwyn. So I think it's a good parang culture that he's trying to build here. I guess you can just see the difference between what 4 years of tab system versus just Coach Goldwyn setting up the system more or less what on their first year. So I think yun lang, but still very a promising team, I think, for UP, especially for the future.
A lot of pressing by UP. A lot of different presses. They had a 2-2-1, a 1-2-2.
Yes.
They did the man-to-man. They did the
Yes.
half-court trap.
I
They
think
were
yun yung
ready for it.
signature. I think yun yung signature defense din ni Goldwyn, even
Mm.
Monteverde, even in high school. No? So,
I like it. I
press
like it.
D talaga.
Yeah. I mean, they were ready to play, I think. Diba? Pero
Exactly.
siguro, coming from that game and being a UP fan for, diba, quite a few years na rin, andun pa rin kasi yung paasa factor. Meaning, every time UP plays, aasa talaga kami. Because there are a lot of bright spots, diba? Cancino is there, Tamayo is there. I was surprised by Diof also. And kita naman sa box scores, diba? They were the top scorers, double 21 points, diba? 15 points and all that. Pero laging may magsa-stand out sa'yo na ay sayang hindi nangyari. With our free throw shooting, 26 out of 43. Di ba parang yun nga yung pinoint out ni si Coach Tab pa yung nag-point out nun sa press con niya na Ateneo gave out 43 attempts but we only made 26. And look at the final score, di ba? We could have easily won that game if we just shot all of our free throws. So laging may ganong feeling pag UP fan. Laging kang may umaasa. But I mean, hopefully this is just the start, di ba? So there are a lot of things to look forward to in the other games. And then with Ateneo naman, parang first two plays pa lang ata nila kanina. Kitang-kita mo na parang wala namang nakuhang 2 years sa kanila. They're still a very well-oiled machine. I was like, okay, Kwame's still doing all these things. And now he has range. He shot like 3-pointer ba yun or long two?
Yeah, it was
Diba?
3-pointer to start
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah. Siguro yun yung hinahanap ko kanina. Kasi with Ateneo, all of these familiar names, I already know what's gonna come from Verano, from Pio, from Mamu. Parang alam mo na whatever your expectations are, yun yung nakita ko when they were playing kanina. And Gab was right. Like, when we were making a run, and UP has always been popular with that, parang every time we're down, yun talaga yung storyline ng team namin. Talagang laging hahabol. But
yeah.
hindi pwedeng ganun eh. Like, when you're playing Ateneo, because they know what to do. Diba? Everyone knows their role, everyone knows where to go. Versus UP kanina. And you see it from some of the quarters na parang may mga defensive lapses, minsan may mga parang ang daming turnover, ganyan, costly fouls, and we don't know how to capitalize on all of the fouls that we were being given. Diba? Pang-break mo na ng momentum eh, but that didn't happen. So, hopefully, it's just a matter of getting more games in, getting more mileage. Diba? We have a new coach, we have all this new talent coming in, and hopefully we get to that point where we also know what to do in those crucial situations. Because no one's gonna bail us out na parang, okay, Kobe, do your thing. We need some points.
One more point from this game. I think UP showed that Ateneo has at least one weakness, which is aside from Ants and JO2, they're pretty small. You know, I think Sam, you pointed this out to me, diba? We've always been weak inside Ever since nawala si Greg Slaughter, we never had a good big man, and just not a offensive big man. And you forget that si Carl Tamayo was actually 6'8". I mean, he was just getting offensive rebounds off the top of Rafi Verano and all that. So size will have to matter for Ateneo because Rafi Verano is like 6'3", 6'2", so it's not that big. But yeah, for Ateneo side, I'm surprised na si Troy Malilins is not playing more. Uh, aren't you surprised, Sam? Diba,
Yeah.
in the
highly touted recruit yan from high school, diba? Lasal.
Yeah, and in the how do you call this? In the games in the Champions League after the
he would get
third,
minutes.
yeah, he would get minutes and played well. This was the SJ and Ange teams already, and Troy Blaine was getting consistent minutes. Now he's back to the bench.
Unless we're missing something, maybe there's an injury or I'm not sure. Baka he's resting. He did play garbage time, diba? Parang one minute and a half or something like that. What about si Padrigaw? Wala siya sa lineup pala.
Yeah, he wasn't in the lineup. Maybe
too many guards.
Well, yeah, there are a lot of guards. Ateneo is just too talented on guards. Tab likes to play the seniors also. I mean, he played BJ Andrade. He started BJ Andrade.
Good for him.
Yeah, he was a starter. Yeah.
No offense to BJ Andrade, but I would think he would put Gian Mamuyak there. And true enough, to end the game, Gian Mamuyak was finishing. Andrade played like 10 minutes. So yeah, Tab gives minutes to the seniors, so he gives way. So Fortsky will have his time, I'm guessing next year or maybe next. And next year because I think Tyler T was graduating. So yun. And we got a lot of sprained ankles today. Terence Fortea sprained his ankle, so take care of your ankles, kids.
Yeah, sa rustiness.
Yeah, but good points from both of you. I think Dale, you raised yung free throws. I checked the box score. I think yung two big men. So tama si Gab, like the UP looks a lot bigger than Ateneo for some reason. Pero they also missed the most free throws. Dioff shot 5 of 13 from 3, 38.5% lang. And then si Tamayo shot 4 of 9 for 44%. So I think maybe that's something that they need to work on for the following games. No, they're getting the rebounds, they're getting the touches, but they need to work on their free throws.
And I mean, the players that we were expecting to show out didn't really show out, like Richie Rivero. Ang dami pa niyang pa-press release na. I mean, I love the fact that he's trying to help our UP drivers, UP community. But dude, kung magpa-promise ka naman ng monetary amount for every point, you have to shoot and you have to make it.
But we saw the classic Richie Rivero
the Euro.
Na Euro, di
ba? We had one, yeah.
So
one.
Dapat shot ka din doon pag may Euro step si Richie.
I mean, he played 23 minutes, almost 24 nga eh. If you're gonna play that long, di ba? You have to do something else. Maybe off the ball or try to get your teams more involved. Di ba? Hindi na kami pwedeng umasa lang lagi na Richie Rivero is the star, but also where are his points?
Yeah, I'm hoping for a bounce back year for Richie Rivero. I mean, he was taking a backseat to Kobe 2 years ago. To your point, Dale, I did see a tweet na sinasabi si Richie Rivero nagtitipid. Kaya ayaw mo na mag-score para sa UP driver. I love so hard.
Cute. Mamaya kung makakuha na tayo ng bashers from the UP community. I mean, we love Richie and we love our UP drivers. So, more points. More
points, yes.
More points.
Agree.
We're looking at the silver lining. So finally, this is the last game. Medyo late na rin to natapos, I think. But this is a close one. I think it came down to the last possession, diba? So that's DLSU versus UE. DLSU coming away with a win with 71 over 66. Gab, what do you think of this game?
Biggest surprise of the day, Deshaun Winston. Spelled Deshon. Deshaun Winston.
Hindi ko napanood yung game na to, pero I'm just looking at the box score. Parang ako, sino to? Sino to Winston na to?
Diba? Wait, Mark Nona is not starting? Yeah, well, and then Mark Nona is not playing, but apparently he's injured. So okay, fine. I thought that he would just ride the bench. Doon ako magugulat. Parang hindi nila ilaro si Mark Nono. But yeah, very surprising that Deshaun Winston can actually ball. I looked up his story. Apparently, he's from Div 1 in the NCAA. Didn't do much, but he was from Div 1. Went to 3 colleges in the States. But the guy can ball. Had the highlight of the day. Went behind his back and then for a layup a la Rajon Rondo. And LaSalle's big. They are big. Well, they have Balti. And I think Balti had a bad game. I think he's one of the favorites for MVP. I think a lot of people have him as one of the favorites for MVP. But he was forcing a lot of his shots. Wasn't getting it into the flow of the offense. I think it was pinipilit niya sa ibang possession. So I would have loved to see more smarter decision making from Balti, but he's a great player. He blocks a lot of shots. He gets a lot of rebounds. And yeah, LaSalle's big. They have their foreign student athlete Juan Kuo. I don't know. So yun. And then Balti, and then the Phillips brothers coming off the bench. Yeah, they're big. The Phillips brothers, though, I thought they would be like Jamie Malonzo types. They're actually not that skilled, or maybe raw. They're raw. They're big though, but they're raw. And on UE side, man, I don't know their players. Hindi ko sila kilala. Si Antiferda, yun lang ang naalala ko from season 82, but all others, di ko pala sila kilala. But they kept it close during the end. Yung nagulat nga ako na close na bigla eh.
Yeah, I think that's where the inexperience comes in. Eh. Kasi ako nga even I don't even remember like the name that you mentioned just now. Kasi wala talaga, parang tinitignan ko yung mga sa box score ngayon, yung names nila, parang I can't remember anyone. Hirap. Pero to me kasi, like what stood out talaga, parang in-expect mo na rin naman from LaSalle, their points in the paint, di ba? 48 over 20 ng tama ba? Yeah, over 20 ng UE. So, you'd expect this from them, like you'd expect this type of play from them. And also the number of players that the coach is, si coach ano pa rin to, di ba? Derek Pomarin.
Yeah.
For LaSalle.
Yeah. For LaSalle. Parang he's keeping his roster pretty tight compared to UE na parang lahat ata ng players nila nilaro. Maybe just to get the new guys some mileage also.
Some reps.
Some reps. But hopefully we'll get more parang smarter plays then from UE because the last possession talaga sayang they were down like 20 or more seconds pa, di ba? They could have taken a shot, a better shot. Wala, inubos. Inubos nila kaka-dribble. Hindi man lang sila nakalapit sa paint. Like, gets naman if the paint is too clogged. But still, you could have at least taken something.
Yeah, the broadcast, Nico Lili was saying they should go quick. They should go quick. They were down by 5. And then, nag-set up pa sila ng play.
Yeah.
For wasted 10 seconds, 15 seconds before they could get up a shot. Experience. They have to get more experience. On LaSalle side, yung nakita mo yung drip ni Derek Pomarin. Damn. That is some drip.
Something to watch out for.
Best outfit of the day.
I think Derek Pumaran is known to be someone to tries
Talaga?
to dress
Yeah.
well, diba? As a
Yeah.
coach, medyo
And I think he's leaning more towards it now. Kasi yun yung last na parang sumikat din with everyone tweeting about it. Minsan mas fashion pa siya kaysa dun sa mga players, diba? So
correct.
now, he's just continuing the tradition. But I guess just to go back to that last possession, sorry UE, talagang we're drilling down on that. Kasi like they could have easily stolen the game, and I guess that's
They could have.
also this is also not naman warning sign pero for Lasal na they can't coast to wins kasi with some of their sloppy plays din. Parang they have to earn it. Parang yun yung naging
Yeah, they
feeling ko
do.
after the game na sinuwerte sila dun sa dun sa last possession.
Uh, I would say though, Evanelli is the real deal. Love that guy. Plays really well. Yun nga, I would have thought it was a Mark None, Evanelli backcourt. Apparently, there's a Deshaun Winston. No idea how they got him, but grave. Eee. So good. Anyway, let's move on.
Winston, and we'll see more of him in the next LaSalle games. So since this is day 1 of UAAP, uso to sa lahat ata ng nagpa-podcast din. Way too early predictions for everything that we've seen so far, di ba? Game 1 pa lang, mag-react na tayo talaga, give all our hot takes. So I guess we can start with parang wild card. It doesn't have to be like maybe a team or a player. So either. Diba? Ano yung
Like
pinaka-wild card nyo na pe-predict
wild
nyo?
card to make the final four. Maybe let's do that. Or the finals, wild card.
And we can do any first, like any crazy prediction that you have, and then let's do our
Yeah.
Final Four predictions
Final
after.
Four.
All right.
So, doon muna
So
tayo sa
Sam,
crazy.
I don't know. I don't think this is too crazy, but just based off what I've seen, I think yung mga Gilas players will get that Gilas bump. I saw RJ Abarrientos do really well. We saw Carl Tamayo also dominate. So
Dave Ildefonso,
Dave
SJ.
Ildefonso looked super confident and looked super natural in Ateneo versus like what God mentioned. He seemed a bit forced or parang pilit siya maglaro back in NU, but to be fair, he was really the superstar there, no? Pero this one, it looked so natural to him to play.
Imagine kung nandun si Dwight, no? Kung nandun pa si Dwight.
Oo nga no? But move on na rin tayo, no? So happy for Dwight. He's in the Japan League. But I think for me, expect the Gilas players to be stars in their team. And baka nga mag-mythical teams tong mga Gilas players. Kasi that Gilas bump, being able to play against international competition within the last 2 years, I think just push them on a different level versus the competition. Kahit na rookie sila. So I think nothing too crazy. I think that's expected, but just expect the Gilas players to stand out this year, I think.
Dale, you wanna chime in? Your bold prediction. I'm just trying to think of mine.
Yeah, sure. I think yung wild card for me, medyo connected kasi siya sa Final Four. In the sense na feeling ko up to the last 5 games before natin ma-predict, before mag-fall into place yung Final Four. Because I think the top 3 and top 4 spots, it's up for everyone. I feel like the top 2, medyo alam na natin yan siguro, maybe when we do our Final Four. Pero yung 3 and 4, feeling ko kagulo yan. It will boil down to last 5 games nga na parang nagaganyanan pa rin sa up or down pa rin sa standings. And that's where all of the experience and all of these new coaches will be put to the test. I want to see them, di ba, ball out talaga and really see like the mental toughness of the players, because that's what's lacking, we're missing a lot of the veterans, diba? And usually pag second round, diyan mo na talaga maririnig yung pangalan ng veterans. But now that we have all of these new names, to me, ako, pahirapan yung bracket, makakatamang bracket sa Final Four.
Okay. Great. So I have a bold prediction. Jerome Lastimosa for MVP. No,
Very bold.
I love
one game.
I love this guy. Just one game, but this guy is an MVP. Yeah. Sorry, we can't curse pala this. But yeah, book me for Jerome Lastimosa for MVP. I love this guy. This guy has balls. He attempted to win the game by playing a Steph Curry 3. Grabe. And Nastasela will give him the ball. I mean, he played almost the entire second half. Di siya yung nilabas. So, I think he's gonna get a lot of burn.
Tapang talaga. Tapang ng batang to.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 years ago pa lang, di ba? Sobrang buo na loob niya eh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And seeing how all of the 8 teams play, it's very guard-centered, you know. A lot of guard play. Yeah, I was gonna do this for my initial reaction, but the NBA style of play has trickled down to the UAAP. It somehow skipped the PBA and went to the UAAP. But yeah, the Warriors style of play and the NBA style of play in general trickled down to the UAAP. So a lot of guard play. So I think Jerome Lastimosa is the best guard. Maybe you can make an argument for SJ, but SJ is not gonna get, I don't think, enough numbers to, since he plays for Ateneo, to get that MVP. But they book me for Jerome Lastimosa for MVP.
Heard it first on Boleros.
Bold prediction.
Just game 1, but pero ano naman, I don't think it's an impossibility kasi with Jerome Lastimosa, and just with this game naman talaga. You have to root for the guy.
Yeah. He's so good.
And if you've seen him from before, from years ago, diba? This game is not a fluke. He can take those big shots, and you expect him to take those big shots as well.
Yeah. He's got balls. Balls for days.
Yes. So, Final Four.
Here we go.
Final Four predictions. Here we go. Ira-rank na rin ba natin talaga?
Okay lang, may rank.
Oh, sige.
Ayan. Gulo-gulo pa man din ang feeling ko nga, di ba, magkakagulo sila sa 3 and 4.
Okay. I'll go ahead. Okay, ranked. Crap. Sige, so ranked. I would say number 1 would still go to Ateneo. If you think about it, first round, we'll go through the first round in 2 weeks ata, if I'm not mistaken. And if you play 3 games in a week, I think it's important that there's a system in place. And Dale mentioned half of the teams have new coaches, and we all know most of the teams have new faces. So I think the fact that Ateneo has an established coach, an established system, and with most of their stars or veterans still being there, I think that would work to their advantage ngayong season na to with the games compressed. So I would say Ateneo would still end up being number 1. But I'm not saying that's a sure championship for Ateneo. There's a lot of promising new teams this season. So they get the top spot. Second and third, I think, is a bit tougher for me to sort of predict. But if I'm just basing it off the games today, I would still go UP for number 2. Hard to say no to their talent. You still have Richie, you have CJ Cancino, proven talents. Dioff, who they got from the NCAA, also has some experience playing. And then you have the 3 out of the 5 starting players of the NU Championship NU Bullpups. So and their coach. So I think it's just really hard to sort of say no or rank them lower, no, yung UP. So I would say UP would be my number 2. I think number 3, surprisingly for me, based on the games so far, which is just one game for each team, I would say LaSalle, just because um very very talented team also. Hindi pa natin nakita si Mark Nonoy play. We didn't expect some of the players that played well today to play well. Tapos the ones that we expected, Mark Nonoy didn't play. Balti had a so-so game or even a bad game according to Cap. So I think there's a lot of things that they can still work on. And, Apomaren and LaSalle, it's just hard to say no to that. So I would put LaSalle number 3. And then number 4, it has to be Aracela coach team. So if this
So
one's tough.
Which one?
This one's tough for me. If I had to pick,
True,
I'll
true.
just pick the team that's been in the final for the longest, which is or the most consistent in the final four, which is FEU. They still have a pretty solid team, and again, because it's a compressed season, I think if you have an established system, it works better for you. And because Nash Olsen Rosella has been there before, I think the familiarity with the system would really help FEU get there. But it was a very tough decision to sort of pick between Adamson and FEU. That's my final 4 pick. Ateneo, UP, LaSalle, FEU.
So I think Dale should react first, since I obviously agree that Ateneo is going to be number 1. I mean,
I think all logic points to that naman. Parang sobrang bolero talaga ako. Hindi ko piliin yung Ateneo as number 1. I mean, it's so obvious. All of the points that Sam already mentioned, everyone is already saying that. I think even if hindi shortened yung season, hindi lalo pang to Coach Tab's advantage, di ba? He can play around with his lineup. And parang alam mo yun, pagpa-practice niya, as sad as this may sound, pagpa-practicean nila yung ibang teams talaga. Because they're such a well-oiled machine already. So parang giveaway to me yung number 1 na it will be Ateneo. Although I don't think they will sweep. I think may mga ka-upset talaga. I don't think they will continue with their 27.
Are you locking that in?
Streak.
Are you locking that in?
Yes. Kaya nga hindi ko siya nilagay as wild card because I really fully believe na possible siya. First round pa lang may makakatalo na sa Ateneo. I believe.
No, I think for me,
Anyway.
I think they will sweep the first round, but UB will beat them in the second round. For me, because again, yung sabi ko kanina, I'm impressed by UP. I think kind lang yung makaisa sa Ateneo with the way they play. So, yun lang. I agree, hindi makakasweep ng Ateneo. As much as it hurts me. But,
Fair na sa belief niya talaga sa UP. Kasi my top 2 team is not UP. It will be Adamson.
Whoa!
For me, it will be Adamson, top 2. Ang hirap kasi mag-no to a Racela team. Parang for me, parang FEU, parang there are still a lot of missing spots for me, missing things. Pero with Adamson and the way Coach Nash adjusts every game and sometimes even like every quarter, iba talaga yung libre niya kasi sa players. And I think with the type of player, yung tawag nila magic bunot, parang ganun. So I feel like Adamson will really surprise a lot of teams, and a lot of teams will also might underestimate them. Na parang baka si Lastimosa lang yung yung pansinin nila. But there are other players there to watch out for. And of course, the coaching talaga for me will matter once we go down the wire. So that's why top 2 ko si Adamson. Yeah. You have to be kapag kay Coach Nash, diba? Diba?
Sa Adamson.
So, doon tayo sa Adamson train. And
Okay,
then ito
number
na.
3 and
So,
4.
yung 3-4 ko, ito na nga yung magulo, di ba? Pero feeling ko naman, UP can squeak in. We'll have the top 3 spot. Di ba? So parang ano yan ulit, UP Adamson, ang saya, di ba? This will be a match up to remember. Parang ano na yan talaga, rivalry. So I think UP will figure it out with more games and with more experience under Coach Goldwyn also. And the players that we're expecting, the people who came back, like si Spencer, si Webb, they would have their voice also kasi parang sila na yung veterans in our team, diba? So I feel like they'll find their voice eventually in the second round and have more impact in the games that matter. So top 3 UP. And then number 4 ko, it's a toss up for me between LaSalle and FEU. Parang mahirap i-discount si Balti from LaSalle, si Mark Nonoy from LaSalle. Parang yung talent pa lang na yun ng dalawa. Plus, the surprise players that we've seen today, like si Deshaun Winston, and then Nelly or Nell. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
I don't know. I want to ask him that. Is it Nelly or Nele?
Nelly.
Because the broadcast was calling him Nele.
Yeah, yeah.
My Ateneo upbringing.
Nelye. I remember sa NCAA Nelye.
Okay.
Tapos meron pang Lohera na parang feeling ko hindi pa niya naibigay kanina pero magpapakita yan sa ibang game. So, may mga ganun pa sila Sal, di ba? So, feeling ko they might get into the top 4 but again, FEU kasi they also have their system eh. I feel like even if may turnover lagi ng players or nag-iiba man ng coaches, parang FEU has that winning culture. I feel like na, alam mo yun, parang consistent naman sila in all seasons of UAAP that you can, like they're always part of the conversation when it comes to Final Four. So, and the way also that they played earlier, I think yung tweaks na kailangan nila, it's not as drastic compared to NU. So, kaya sila ang aking, parang 4 and 5, parang ganun.
Okay.
Nag-aagawan.
So, I thought I was high on Adamson. Apparently, you're higher on Adamson. I think my top 2 would be, well, of course, Ateneo. And I agree with UP. I think UP has it to be number 2. I'm surprised you didn't take UP to get a twice to beat.
If you're a UP fan,
glass half full. Ayaw umasa.
Mahirap.
Oh my, no, you mean glass half empty, you mean.
Ay, sorry, half empty si Dale. Half empty si Dale. Ayaw niya umasa.
I don't know. I think yung tama ka, Sam, yung analysis mo that since we're playing every 3 days, you need to have depth. Culture, system, and depth. And I think Ateneo and UP have those. More so Ateneo than UP. UP has a lot of talent and a lot of talented players. Terence Fortea, Jerry Abadiano, top high school recruits off your bench. But again, they're all young. And hopefully we get more donations from Richie Rivero. Pinipin niya yung mga driver ng UP.
Actually, kailangan talaga si Richie top scorer ng UAAP this year.
Hindi dapat si Cancino yung top scorer. Yun dapat si Richie. Oh my God. Anyway, so that's my number 2. Number 3, I'm gonna go with FEU. Again, knowing Coach Olsen Racella's style of play, very guard heavy, and he has a lot of talented guards. LJ Gonzalez has yet to play. I love that guy. With Ron J there, and all the other guards, plus the big man that they have. I just think they're a lock to make it to the Final Four. Could even challenge for number 2, but I'm giving it to UP. No, your number 4. That's where I'm putting in Adamson. Because I don't think they have a lot of depth. Kung ikaw si Jerome Lastimosa, I think mapapagod ka. For every 3 days, kailangan mo buhatin yung team mo. Well, yung if si ano name mo siya?
Hanapi.
Well, if they can get consistent production from Hanapi and Duanga, I think their big man was pretty good too. Si Duanga. So if they can get consistent production out of that, I think that would help. But lock me in for Adamson at number 4 with Jerome Lastimosa winning the MVP because he's gonna get his numbers. I don't think LaSalle's gonna make it. I don't think they have the depth. Very shallow ang rotation nila kanina. And hindi ako impressed dun sa Phillips brothers. Not so much. Yeah.
Okay, interesting that we all have different final 4 takes. Even yung 4 teams lang without the rankings, I think iba-iba yung mga pinasok natin. So we'll see how it goes. It's just the first day, pero we'll see.
Yun nga yung masaya, mga magugulong predictions. Well, at least we all agreed naman on the number 1 rank that it's Ateneo, and then 2, 3, 4 lahat tayo medyo magulo na yung predictions. Parang yun ata yung pang wild card natin eh. Parang ano siya talaga. 'Di ba? Connected. So for next schedule, medyo maraming games pa rin, right? Like Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays, I think.
Yes, yeah. 12 games. 12
I'm
games
not watching
in total.
all the games. No, I can't do the 8 hours straight. I just can't.
Di mo ba na-miss ng 2 years, Gab?
Oo nga, akalan mo bumawi, Gab.
After the day, di ko na-miss. Yung balik na ako sa NBA bukas.
Magkakasawaan tayo ng college ball. But, I mean, I guess, the thing is, for second round, hopefully we get the fans back. Diba? It's really a different feeling. We all agreed on that earlier. But, at least for this episode, yun muna yung mga pambobola natin in this show. You'll get more bolas from us in the next episodes. Magsasawa kayo sa bolahan namin tatlo.
We'll work on that ending.
Yeah. Pero I mean, yun lang naman. We're all just fans of UAAP. That's also why this started. Puro lang to. For the love of the game. So I guess we can end there. We've walked through all 4 games naman and all of our wild predictions. Yes.
See you guys next week. See you guys next week.
This is Sam. That's Gab. Bye.
Bye.